Well, we've talked, well, I don't know if we've talked about it, but I've said it before. And one of the Gospels said it that he spends time by himself in prayer,
Mm,
with with Father. And
that's good.
so I think that's one of the reasons that he wanted them to get in the boat and go.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. I kind of got that sense too. He just kind of wanted to refocus, wanted to spend some time with his father. If you guys remember, the last time we met, remember the crowds were trying to make him king. They got the food, they got fed, and they were trying to make him king, and Jesus was having none of it. So it said he
Right.
withdrew. It kind of reminds me of when he was in the desert and he was fasting, and the devil tried to tempt him. The devil tried to tempt him. I think we read this the last time too, and told him, "I will give you this whole kingdom. I'll give you all of this if you just bow down and worship me." And Jesus told him to be gone with me. Bible, the word says, worship God and God alone. So it just seems as though Jesus needed to kind of refocus because he was getting all of this was coming at him and stuff, and he had to keep focused on his purpose, his reason for being there. So that's good. I think that's good. Anybody else?
I just think that's a great example for us. I think we all need to do that, and it's so healthy that when we're getting all these different feedback and even when there's just a lot of activity happening in our lives, it's just such a good thing and such a healthy thing to just step away for a moment, and just spend some alone time with the Lord. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what, that's a great model that Jesus just did there for us.
Yeah.
Amen.
I agree.
In verse 18, it says that while they were on the sea, a storm arose and a great wind was blowing. We see this storm developing, right? And I did some research on
Mhm.
the Sea of Galilee, just the position of the sea and how it kind of was it was kind of sunk into a valley, sort of, and just kind of how the wind was blowing and the sun and the whole evaporation process. There were these storms that just started to develop. So it was normal. It was normal that you'll get these little surges, these little storms. And so this storm develops. And this time Jesus is not in the boat with his disciples. Now remember, some of you may remember this story in Matthew chapter 8. Let me go to it real quick. In Matthew chapter 8, we if you guys remember this story, there's another time when the disciples were in the boat, but that time Jesus was with them. I think it was Matthew 8:24. Let me go see if it's there. This is Matthew chapter 8, verse 24. It says, let me start at 23. So he got into the boat, his disciples got into the boat with him. And while they were out at sea, a great storm or tempest arose on the sea, and the boat was covered in waves. Jesus was asleep on the boat, right? Jesus was asleep on the boat, and his disciples woke him up and told him to save them. We're perishing. So you guys remember that story. But this time, like I said, this time Jesus was not in the boat because Jesus sent them across the Sea of Galilee alone. So if Jesus was trying to teach his disciples and us a lesson by making his disciples sail across the sea without him and face this storm, what do you think that lesson is? Please check out the rest of this podcast by clicking on the link that appears on your screen. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated for more videos.